This video is not intended for audiences below the age of 14. And let's be honest, you're not going to really want to watch this video anyway, so just leave, please. And so hello and welcome to Fancy Kitchen Sink. I'm your host Richard. You know, I really haven't done that many videos on this channel, and I can already tell this is going to be one of the weirder ones. Particularly because of what it is, and also because of all the controversy around it. And so, let's talk about Interspecies Reviewers. Okay, the story takes place within a sort of a Dungeons and Dragons style fantasy world. And this world is full of all the things you can imagine, mythical creatures, fantasy races, and adventurers. Apart from our main heroes within the story have decided instead of going off and kill the evil demon lord, to go across the land and, how can I put this very politely, sample the different races through Ladies of the Night. And then they review the results afterwards. And so you can already tell this is a story not to be taken 100% seriously. It's designed to be a comedy. And so, who are these heroes of legend you might be thinking of? We have many characters within the story, but the three primary characters to focus on are... We have a human named Stunk, who is a sort of lecherous old man sort of character who chain smokes. So, you can imagine what kind of person he is within the story. Then we have Sel the elf, who's this deviant little creature who has a interesting outlook on older women. Then we have Quimvel the angel, who's a hermaphrodite, and within comedy they would be classed as the straight man. They're the character who's constantly shocked and appalled by the other characters. I do actually find it interesting how the manga and anime are actually exploring something within a fantasy world but generally does not get talked about, apart from in porn. Because sexuality is obviously a big part of human nature, and you know how weird humans are around sex. So you can only imagine how terrifying that would be within a fantasy world full of magic and fantasy races. So when I first became aware of this material, it was actually through the manga. I was actually able to borrow the manga from one of my siblings because I heard about this weird scenario, so I was curious. And so I read the first two volumes, and I did have to say I found it generally very entertaining. Like I said, it's very racy and very pervy, if you want to be polite, but it was one of those ones where it was able to do some genuine good comedy where it's actually able to make me laugh. So I do actually recommend the books themselves. Usually what happens when when you have a adaptation like this is the manga is usually a lot more explicit about its material than the animation, mostly because of the fact of the anime wants to be able to be shown on television and to be streamed and such, and doesn't want to get wrapped up with all the complicated laws they have in Japan about pornography. Where this time round is actually the precise opposite thing that happened, where the manga is actually a lot more conservative, where the anime is a lot more out there about its material than the actual animation. And now on to the actual anime itself. First off, I was able to watch the first episode in both dubbed and sub form, and both censored and uncensored. So I'm going to start with the dubbed version. And I have to say, I found the dub version to be generally alright. The dub itself was actually a little bit all over the place, because there were some actors I found did a fantastic job with the characters they were playing, where there were other ones where I felt like they were a little bit off. And that's mostly with the human character of Stunk. When I imagined him within the manga, I imagined him to be this very gruff and like have a sort of a chain smoker sort of voice, where he's the kind of guy who smoked 40 packs of cigarette when he was a kid. But when you actually watch the anime with the dub version, he came across not with that sort of gravelly voice he was supposed to have. Yeah, I will definitely say the dub version is a little bit of a mixed bag. Some of it's very good, some of the actors were fantastic, other ones just a little off the mark. And so I've heard a lot of chatter online about the uncensored version, and I'm not going to lie, I was curious about it, and this is the part where I sound like a pervert when I say I was doing research to watch the uncensored version, so don't judge me, okay? Anyway, I looked up online to see where I could find it, and it was a bad omen when I found it on friggin' Pornhub. Just saying. And yes, I watched the first episode, and I can definitely say it was very explicit. One of the moments that really stuck out to me was within the opening credits, where I was watching it and it quickly flashed by, and I was like, hold on, what was that? So I had to rewind it, pause it, and yes, I've got an eyeful of naked women. This was very abnormal for most anime. And yeah, this was very much what I would consider hentai. I've heard a lot of people talk online about is this classable as pornography, and I would definitely say it crossed that hypothetical line a couple of times for sure. So if you are uncomfortable with heavy duty sexual content, obviously this is not the show for you. But if you're into that sort of stuff, have fun, I guess. And so what do I think of this material and such? It's definitely racy, it's definitely rather vulgar at points, but it's supposed to be. I mean, one of the things that actually annoys me within anime is when you're actually trying to watch something what advertises itself for having a good story, and so I'm trying to watch it and it ends up just throwing boobs and panty shots constantly, and I end up getting really angry at it because don't you think I have enough concentration without you just throwing fan service into my face? So I will actually give this a lot of credit for just being honest, and I also just like some of the weird ideas they come up with. I mean, one of the ones that sticks out in my head within the manga, they go to a shop where they can buy potions to change their gender, and so they actually all become women temporarily, so they can all experience sex as a woman. And as you can imagine, hilarity ensues with all these sort of very locker talk sort of bro dude sort of characters all of a sudden turn into women and giggling about the whole thing, and also just having the weird scenario of talking about the anatomy of a hyena girl. I will leave it there for your own imagination. And now, on to the primary reason why I actually wanted to create this whole video. The thing is, I wanted to watch this anime series when it was 100% complete and fully released on Funimation with the full dub, because that's my personal preference. But a whole series of very unusual events happened to make that impossible, because Funimation have actually cancelled the series for their Western audience. And that has proposed so many different questions about what happened, like why is it suddenly being cancelled now after they started to do simulcasting and even started doing a dub. And the only message we're able to get from Funimation itself is that this has fallen outside of their standards and decide to hit the brakes all of a sudden. Funimation has released other anime series where have very, let's say, very explicit sort of territory itself, and so it's a curiosity question of why was this one particularly targeted for that purpose. And I think the primary problem was, this is my opinion, so I don't have any hardcore evidence on this, but they were in such a rush to try to pick up content and to make sure that other people don't get it. They end up buying something incredibly quickly without bothering to check what they were actually acquiring. I think anyone with eyes can know from looking at the manga and anime they were buying that this is a very, very saucy, very explicit sort of show. It does cross the line from being hinted from sexual content to almost practically pornographic. And so Funimation probably overreacted and decided to quickly cut it before getting into trouble. As you can imagine, people are not happy about this. They're very upset because, you know, if you're enjoying the series and suddenly having that platform suddenly change their mind on you is really frustrating. And I think people would have been a lot less angry if Funimation simply did not even pick up this property to begin with, instead of suddenly turning around and going like, no, sorry, you can't have it. And so no one could actually watch the series within the West in a legal manner, and that creates an automatic problem right there. This just invites piracy, because it's not going to be too difficult for pirates to be able to just grab the Japanese version and slap on some subtitles. And so that's going to heavily undermine Funimation's, monopoly on this property. They can release it and potentially get in trouble for releasing something that was borderline pornographic, or they can hold on to it and have the pirates just gain all the profits from people watching it, because there's still a demand for this material and pirates will deliver it if they don't. And so I'm going to do a little bit of a hypothetical in the sense of what I would do if I was Funimation. They need to make sure they know what they're buying before they buy it, because if this continues to happen down the road, all you're going to do is keep frustrating your own audience and keep breeding bad will. And so you want to make sure that you're providing people what they want, and the things that you don't want on your platform, you can let them be free so other people can theoretically pick them up. That's my first suggestion on that regard. And now, because of this whole controversy, I would recommend to them is to actually continue to stream it on their service, but stream only the censored version. Now, I know that will upset some members of the audience, but I do believe they want to maintain their image. That would be the best tactic for them. And what they could also do is release a Blu-ray box set containing the uncensored material, so people who want access to that material can do so. And I think that concludes most of the things I was talking about. I can only hope now that Funimation actually watches this video and have an epiphany about what they do next, and actually hopefully release it back on their service, because I generally do want to watch Interspecies Reviewers on Funimation's service than to try to go down the dark alleyways of the internet. And so that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. So please like and subscribe, do check out our other videos if you like, and have a good one. Bye.